Welcome back, Fragrance Fiend here today with my very first Maison Francis Kurkdjian review of Gentle Fluidity Silver, released in 2019. Of course, one of the greatest perfumes of our generation, widely known for Baccarat Rouge 540. MFK is also currently the creative perfume director of Dior, but I've never even smelt their private collection before, so I'll be interested to see what he does with the brand, because a lot of their top sellers don't appeal to me. So to those who don't know, this was actually released alongside the gold version with a gold cap. If you were like me prior to knowing about this, then you probably would have thought it was a higher perfume oil concentration or like an extrait version, but no, they're actually both eau de parfum, and they both use the complete same notes except they're made with a completely different contrast. To put it simply, the gold one is the more sweeter one with a lot of vanilla, and this is a more fresher, almost more masculine one, even though they're simply made to be genderless. The concept of the creation of using the same notes for two different perfumes but making them completely different is pretty interesting, and I think he did nail it. But anyway, there is no pyramid of a note breakdown, but there are 6 notes, and they are nutmeg, vanilla, juniper berries, amber woods, coriander seeds, and musks. I have 200ml here, which goes for 540 Australian dollars. Let's give it a spray. This one is macerated absolutely perfectly over the course of its use, which I'm now completely out of. From the opening, you get a massive wave of freshness mixed in with a tiny bit of that vanilla. Immediately upon smelling it, it's like getting a flashback of walking into a 5-star hotel. It's fresh, classy, got character, it's sophisticated yet casual and fun. And I also have a sample of a very recent release, which I'm not sure if it's been reformulated. This is a lot more crisper and fresher. Obviously, time will do a lot to a perfume, so I can imagine that it has changed quite a bit over time. But the new batch I sampled from that tester is a lot more crisper, it's got a bit of a pine note to it, a little more spicy. Whereas this one, aged to perfection, has lost a bit of that crispness, but I don't mind that. So I don't know if it's been reformulated or changed, but the two that I just sprayed are quite different to me. In fact, this kind of reminds me of halfway between what this fresh sample was and what the gold is. So upon the opening, you get that blast of nutmeg, coriander, and juniper berries, which are quite prominent, with the woods lingering in the back, and then that vanilla jumps out just a tiny bit to give you a tease of the dry down. But it never jumps out too much to be too sweet. This is a very fresh scent. As I mentioned earlier, most people do prefer the gold because it does have that easy to like tonality to it, it's just sweet and pleasing. But to be honest, this is a good middle ground, it'll be great for summer. And as it ages over time and it loses those fresher notes, which is bound to happen with a lot of fresher perfumes, you'll get the darkness creep out in that vanilla and woods. But I do have to emphasize how different this 200ml bottle is, which is at its end, compared to a new one which I recently sampled. Now onto the performance, which is much better than I expected because it is a freshie and it does use pretty minimal ingredients. It's definitely one of the longer lasting fragrances I've smelt with this type of DNA. After the lighter elements do fade after the 5-hour mark, you're still left with those woods and that musk, which should easily carry you past that 7-hour mark. But of course, that's if it's a hot summer day where you'll get that above average longevity. Projection is also pretty decent for what it is. It'll be enough for people to turn their heads and appreciate it, but not enough to be chasing you down the street wondering what you're wearing. Otherwise, I'm going to keep it pretty short and simple. If you do like your fresh scents, definitely try Aqua Media Cologne Forte, also by MFK. Or if you're here just because you like BR540, you definitely have to try Oud Satin Mood. And for those calling it expensive, remember 75ml of Penhaligon's is 445 Australian dollars, whereas 70ml of this is only 274. But that again is subjective to what you want to wear and how much you're willing to pay. But that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.